Hail, Internet! It's producer Steve. It's Matt, the Dork Lords. We are here to give our spoilery review of The Last Jedi. So, again, spoilers. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Come back. Enjoy. But, yeah, we're going to talk about some stuff that happened in the movie. So, first off, let's talk about some things we liked. So we don't just make this like a bash session of some kind. Because it is an enjoyable movie. I enjoyed the movie. I don't know, producer Steve?
Yep.
Yes?
It was a few notches above The Force Awakens for me.
I think that's true.
I didn't care for that movie too much, but I did.
When
like
you say that movie, you mean Force Awakens?
Force Awakens, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, there were some. I mean, the action scenes are well paced, well filmed. There's creativity to them. It's not something you've seen before a lot. I felt like.
Yeah, I like the first action scene the most.
So like the first third of the movie, almost. I mean, like there's a big chunk of the movie that's like
the opener.
The rebels are escaping. Let's say the rebels. The resistance is escaping their base.
Yeah, I like after the bombing run when Poe, he does like that skid out
the
thing.
The skid out thing is pretty cool. I don't know if that works in space physics, but I don't care. It looked awesome.
It was cool.
Like
we've never seen a ship do that, so that was really cool. Like
it was like
really
yeah.
It's like the hot rod.
It was the Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift version.
No, we don't watch that.
He was drifting.
It's garbage.
Okay, yeah.
That film is garbage.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the.
That's why you mention it.
Because he drifted. He was drifting. Okay, never mind.
Said NASCAR.
All right, sorry. Okay,
all right,
good. So that's awesome. They didn't have like the big, go-to lightsaber battle, but they did have a cool fight involving people with lightsabers.
We thought there was good. Everyone, I think, thought it was going to be this huge lightsaber battle. We were saying maybe Luke and
Snoke, perhaps,
Luke and Rey were going to team up, right, and go against them, and maybe Kylo would come, and the three of them would go up against Snoke. That would have been a cool battle. None of that happened at all. Nowhere near close.
We're still talking good stuff, though.
No, I know. But I'm just saying that everybody predicted there's going to be a massive lightsaber battle. How could there not be? Never happened.
But Kylo and Rey in the throne room, that scene against the Praetorian Guards was pretty cool. I liked the way that was filmed.
That was done really well. But it was still just a couple steps above their battle together in The Force Awakens. And I don't know, I don't have a problem with that. Because if you see, like, the younger Obi-Wan going up against the younger Anakin at the end of Episode 3, that's what a Jedi is supposed to be. But they're not Jedi or true Sith, so they don't really have trainers. So I accept it. They're just kind of like, I'm doing the best I can. Like, what did you say? Melee type?
Yeah,
fighting?
melee weapons, yeah.
So it was fine. It was done well. It was good for what it was.
We got, I thought, some very strong performances from Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
From, Carrie Fisher and her farewell performance.
Yep.
All the characters, again, we're talking positive, so I think if I were to pick, all the major actors I thought did well. If I were to pick a series of actors, I was like, oh boy, it might have been the kids in the Canto Bight. It kind of reminded me a little bit of the kids in the the episode 1 that everybody loves at the pod race where the little kids are like, yee! I was like, no, I don't want those kids.
You mean like the very end?
Yeah. But they anyway, the kids were fine.
They're fine.
But the actual leads in this, I thought all did well. I didn't see anybody and go, not really, let's get less of them. I thought everybody did a good job.
Although, I wanted to say this earlier, I didn't like the whole Rose Finn thing. It's like, let's throw in another character. And it's like, oh my god, this is going on too long.
I didn't see the romantic subplot. When she kisses him at the end, I didn't think that was earned particularly. But I liked her character being there. It was fine, but it's like they tried to push it.
Let's add another character to another character that's not necessary. It's like they were trying to build a branch that wasn't needed when all this other stuff's going on. I was like, why is this happening? That could have been a 5-minute scene.
It was.
But when he's
I mean, I might as well. So we'll throw in some positives and negatives
Right.
as we go along. But that
when he's trying to go into the escape pod, that
Well,
scene went on forever.
but it was all she was like the fan girl to him, like, oh, you're the famous guy, and then she realizes he's trying to escape. So she
That could have been a 2-minute scene.
the thing is
Anyway.
the whole arc of Finn and Rose go on their journey. In some ways, didn't accomplish anything. Like plot wise, it accomplished
Yes, that's what I
nothing,
meant,
right?
that's what I meant.
So they go to Canto Bight, which I kind of thought was maybe the least effective scene in
That's when
sequence
they were in
the
Vegas?
movie.
When they were in Vegas?
Yeah.
Hated that part.
The casino planet, and then the riding on the space horses.
Oh, God.
Was a little like I don't know. Okay, but so like the whole point was to get this decoder. They're gonna somehow get aboard the ship, and then give them a 6-minute window to escape, and it all fails. It all failed. And it seemed like, well, what was the point of that exactly? And then to have Rose save Finn when he's trying to destroy the beam that's gonna blow up the blast doors.
Yeah.
And she saves him by crashing her ship into his. I'm like,
At fast speed.
how, the only way you lived was that the script said you live. Like there would be no way that she could say, I'm pretty sure this will save us both if I do this. Plus, now the cannon is operational. She didn't know that Luke was coming to save the day, so
Right.
she was also dooming everyone else
She's an
in that
idiot.
moment. That scene played weird.
Yeah, it was another reason I didn't like her damn character at all. And you know what, I hate to say this, even though I kind of liked Finn a little more, I thought he was going to die, and I'm honest. And I'm going to tell you, when I was in the theater, I'm like, yes, good. He's going to save
A
everybody.
lot of people did die in this. I'll
Yeah,
say that.
He's going to save everybody. And this is going to be perfect, a perfect way for his character to end
sure,
it
like he'll end
on
it
a
like,
high note.
I'm
like, this is
go
awesome.
out a hero.
I was surprised that Leia stayed till the end.
Yeah, the one character
It
who
was
we know
weird.
the actor has died is
That
the
was
one
so
character
weird.
who survived to the end.
When she was out in space, I'm
Yeah.
like, well, that's how they're going to do it. This is how it ends for her. But no, I'm like, what? It's so strange.
That scene too. I
didn't like that. It was a little silly.
Fan of the weird that she just
It
floated
kind
back
of seemed
to
like
the ship.
for some reason, it kind of seemed like some kind of silly car insurance commercial or something. Like she
Geico.
or something like floating back in. It was just wrong. It was just weird.
Well, I guess what it also made me think is, okay,
because she's never showed.
she's never showed his powers before. I mean, we've seen her link to Luke, but she hasn't really advertised that power. So nobody really knows that she's got his power. And the whole thing is they're trying to get Luke to help him out because he's got these powers. Well, why hasn't she been using her powers to help the resistance? I mean, like,
If only we knew someone.
yeah, if only we need someone who could survive in the vacuum of space and fly.
Let's keep looking for
keep
Luke.
looking for Luke. I'm sure he'll show up one day. So, yeah, but she survived. So I assume that by the next movie, because they've gone on record, I don't know who it was, but one of the producers went on record saying, after they kind of had they had a lot of pushback from doing the digital Leia from Rogue One, that they're not going to digitally recreate her. So either they're going to take a little bit of footage they filmed
That would
from
be
this
cool.
movie,
Yeah.
or they'll just say in the interim she died, or maybe they start with her funeral or something like that.
That would be good. I'd almost prefer it that they let her die in space because it's like a natural way.
Yeah. No, it seemed like a reasonable moment. It also was impactful because it's the right after
That's right.
Kylo decides not to kill her. He's like, I'm not going to push the button, and then she gets blown up
Right,
anyway.
yeah.
And you're like, oh, like it's this agony of even if you make the right choice, bad things happen.
I'm glad they did not kill her off, but I'm just saying, since she unfortunately passed in real life, they had a perfect opportunity. It's just odd that they would have kept her character until the very end. But like you said, maybe they've got a bunch of footage that they can just work into the next one, which would be nice. But
It would be. So we've got, let's talk about the
letdown.
elephants in the room.
Right.
The biggest one that people probably are talking about is Luke deciding momentarily at least, having the decision to kill Kylo in his sleep. Now,
I thought you were going to say Snoke.
well, Snoke is another beat that's weird.
It's like,
but
let me just... All right, go ahead.
you want to jump on? Okay,
Yeah, let's do that one really quick.
okay, Snoke.
Basically, you guys all know, this guy comes out of nowhere after 6 episodes. What's the backstory? Where does he come from? Is it Rey's grandfather? What is he from? What does he do? Was he a Sith?
Was
Who
he
is
Darth
he?
Plagueis? Was he? Who was he?
What? So it's like, we're going to find out. We're going to find out. Because they introduced this character in The Force Awakens, so we know they're going to ramp it up, and you know he's in this next movie.
It was a tease, and it also.
And we saw him in the trailers.
You feel like he's probably similar to the Emperor in a way that he's going to be the big bad through the series.
Yes.
Now,
much stronger than
that's
the Emperor,
interesting
too.
that maybe they've gone in a different direction, obviously.
And he even says, bring him back to complete his training. So you know they're going to keep... But then in the film, within 5 minutes, Dad...
Well, I mean, with 5 minutes of screen time, yes.
Yeah. It's like... Okay. Same thing with... We can touch on that again, but you brought up, Captain Phasma, which, again, not a big fan of that character either. But it's like...
But, yeah, you start taking the totality of the plot elements that they set up in Force Awakens that were just tossed aside in this movie.
Yeah.
You've got Phasma, you've got Snoke generally, but Snoke's past. You've got Rey's parents, and then you've got the scene that ends Force Awakens, which is, Rey holding the lightsaber out. Will Luke take it? It's this big moment. He's getting his dad's lightsaber back. Oh my God! And he has that look on his face, like I don't know what's going on. Oh my God, this is a horrible thing. And then when they start this movie off, they just he just throws it. He throws it away, which is a funny beat.
Yeah.
But it undercut this sense of like what's going to happen in these things. And so it's just a series of those things that seem like it was saying all the teases you got from the last movie,
right.
Blah, 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 blah.
Like I said, it was like the perfect discovery of the Holy Grail moment or the Sword and the Stone moment. And it's just like it's a Dixie cup or something, just trash.
Now, you also, I mean, you had seen back in Force Awakens that it looked like there was a grave.
Yeah, right. Yep,
and that obviously didn't pay off.
Everyone was reading it. Exactly.
There was a whole lot of people were just thinking maybe way too much about it, but whatever.
I'm sure they were watching and reading all these comments. Maybe they had other lines, and they're like, you know what? We'll get them all. Yeah. I'm not saying this to be funny, but maybe they're like, you know what? Maybe we'll just...
What's the last thing they'd suspect?
Right. But also a normal thing. He's like, because Luke's whole thing throughout the whole movie is like, I'm not going back.
Well, I did like the decision or the character choice that he has blocked himself off from the Force.
Yeah, that was...
Because at first I was like, why didn't he know Han died? And how come he doesn't know who Rey is or that she has powers? And it was because he's cut himself off from the Force, which is pretty interesting. I liked that notion of...
He just cut it all off. And when he said no, he meant no, which was cool. And he stayed that way.
Who are you? I mean, no one, I think, thought that he legitimately didn't know who Rey was.
Yeah.
Like when she shows up, at least that he would be like, "Oh, you're a really powerful Force user, and you've come to this." Like, no, he knew nothing about her.
Yeah.
That was a shock. That was a shocker. But okay, so we're talking Luke. Here, I had an issue with the choice to make Luke think about killing Kylo, and it didn't ruin the movie for me. I enjoyed the movie, and I know we're talking more. We're spending more time talking negatives than positives.
It was nice because
I did like the movie, but
they did explain that. Like I thought the same thing, but then he realized he was wrong. But then Kylo woke up and it was too late. So it was like, are you gonna kill me? I don't know. Was I? I don't know. Were you? I might as well follow through. And it just kind of, it was just.
It seemed like they kind of wanted it both ways, though.
Right. It's like, it's like that keys in the door thing when you close your door and you realize your keys are in the car. It's like it's too late. I can't get them. So are you gonna kill me? I don't know. And they strike each other and they misinterpreted each other's thoughts, and I like that. It wasn't a full blown I'm gonna kill you.
Right.
And Kylo blocked it.
Kylo blocked it. Right.
Which I liked.
I will say this though. So It's the fact that so the last time we really saw Luke was in Return of the Jedi. I mean, we saw the 10 seconds of him at the end of Force Awakens, but that doesn't really count. He didn't say anything, whatever. So mainly we saw him Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi, Luke is adamant that he's not going to kill his dad. And he's told by some pretty, Obi-Wan, Yoda, like, you might have to kill your dad. He's like, nope, I'm not killing they're still good at him. I know it, I can redeem him. And so he gets to that moment of truth. He could kill him. He is thinking about killing him because his dad brings up the fact that he's going to go searching for his sister, Leia. That makes him angry. But he's got him down and he could kill him. But he's like, no. This guy, even though it's Darth Vader, cut my hand off, killed Obi-Wan in front of me, destroyed the galaxy, tortured my friends.
Strangled my grandma.
Had my foster parents burned alive. Right. Put my best friend in carbonite. All of those things. Like, the worst things possible. He's still like, I think I can redeem this guy. And sure enough, at the very end, Darth Vader comes back and he even says, as he's dying, you were right. You were right about me. And so it's like he has this great positive reinforcement. You know what? If I just believe that people can be redeemed, they can be. Even the worst guy in the galaxy. Okay, so there's that. We don't see anything else that happens to him.
Right.
Until suddenly, at some point, he decides to start an academy. That sounds like a good idea. I'm going to bring the Jedi back. Cool. He's got his followers. He's not depressed, grumpy hermit Luke at this point. He's optimistic. I'm starting an academy, Luke.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got my nephew. He's really powerful with the Force. He's kind of dark. I can sense that he's dark, like my father. Like I had some tendencies like that. I'll give up on him before he does 1,000th of the things that Darth Vader did. And I'm going to, not only that, I'm going to try to kill him in his sleep. Like, right. That's the extra, like, what? You were contemplating cutting him down while he slept? That is so un-Luke. I need to know why. There has to be something in those intervening years that says, I lost the idea of people being redeemed. Like, how? What? You're going to kill your nephew in his sleep? Like, whoa!
Not giving up on him, expelling him from my school, giving up on him, murder in your sleep.
Murder in your sleep. Or challenging him to a duel or something, like, at least honorably do something. Like, you were like, oh, he's sleeping. And I sense he's dark. Like, what? Well, gee, I mean, that was just like, he's in my care, too. It's not even like, oh, I snuck up on him while he was doing something horrible. Right. He's a student at my academy. He trusts me to teach him. He's asleep in my academy, completely defenseless, and I'm going to be like, yeah, I'll take this opportunity just to hack him in half. Like, wow.
Not even making it look like an accident.
Yeah. And I get it. He's like, oh, it was in a moment of weakness, and I did it. But still, he lit the lightsaber standing behind the cat. I mean, like, wow.
Going back to that scene, though, you said Mark Hamill did a great job. The look on, and he did, and the look on his face when he was telling the story, it was really good. Like, you could see the terror and the regret at the same time. Mark did a really good job. He did a good job.
Despite the fact that he did say he had problems with the script that he went and talked to the director about. That's got to be the problem, right? I don't think the problem was whatever. That scene where I teach Rey. No, I think it was the scene where he decides he's going to kill his nephew in his sleep. Like, okay. That kind of thing. What I got out of that was they were trying to humanize Kylo. They're trying to make Kylo seem less evil. It's like, look, his master tried to kill him in his sleep, or at least in his mind, he saw his master with evil intent with a lightsaber, and so they turned against him. Like, you could have done another way to humanize Kylo than turn Luke into a dick, basically.
In Kylo's defense, like, it really does a good job. Like, maybe Kylo's not that bad, because think about it. If he's not strong to know what he wants or what he feels yet, Luke is. He saw deep inside Kylo. He saw some darkness in Kylo.
Sounds like he knew that Snoke was affecting him too.
Right.
Kylo. It's not even his fault, really. It's like, oh, Snoke's trying to torture you. I'll kill you.
Kylo wasn't even feeling these bad thoughts yet. So, in his world, it's like, I'm being woken up. My uncle's standing over me with a knife, with a horrified look. He's gonna kill me. So, and Kylo,
Yeah, he brought the place down on him.
He didn't know why he was going to be murdered. Because Luke saw things Kylo wasn't even feeling yet. So in his defense, no wonder why he's...
So let's talk about that,
Mean.
though, too, historically.
No wonder why he wants to turn and get away from...
There is no good side in his mind. Like, oh, the good side? You mean the side where Luke tries to kill me in my sleep?
Yep.
That side?
So that
Great.
Yay. That was done well.
And that's why he hates everything Luke and he hates everything Han. Every time he
Yep.
sees the Millennium Falcon, he's like, Gah!
You know what? That's probably why there's conflict in him, because he wants to be good, but if that's the good that he knows, then what is good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's this guy who's like, come by me, I'll take care of you and
Yeah.
everything. Don't be by your dad who's never home, your mom who's always busy working, and your uncle, the guy who tried to kill you in your sleep. Come over by us. So that makes sense.
Yeah. So what we learn is he brought down that, I don't know, well, the whole thing, but I guess the house in particular on top of Luke. He then killed several of the students, but then some of the students went with him. He said something like took some of the students, I don't know if they turned. So that suggests maybe that's the Knights of Ren. We don't see anything about the Knights of Ren in this movie, which is another, like, what?
Yeah.
Is that a thing? Should we care? Because like we built up all of these teases from the other movie, and we're like, oh, but now is that? And if they are around, then why wouldn't they be around? Like, are they all dead now?
Yeah.
Did he kill them off?
Yeah, why talk about it if... it's almost like you ever have a discussion with somebody where they assume that you know who their best friend or their friends are, and you're like, who's John? I don't know. Who's Samantha? I don't know her. You act like I do. We've all had those conversations. That's almost what it's like with the Knights of Ren. It's like, can you tell me who they are?
You named them in The Force Awakens, or you said the Knights of Ren. He is
get,
Kylo Ren.
Yeah, I'd like to be interested in this group. What are they about?
We see this Rey's Force vision, which we assume is the Knights of Ren.
Right.
I think most people agree that's the Knights of Ren in the Reign.
And when did that happen, by the way?
Right. That was about to bring this up. So, one of the conventional thoughts, although we theorized about this and we agreed that it probably wasn't on the same night because of the rain.
Hundreds of bodies.
And there's
all
a bunch
over.
of bodies. But a lot of people thought, oh, that's probably the night that Kylo destroyed the Jedi Academy.
Right.
But it looks like that is completely not the case, apart from the fact that it was pouring down rain and then it's not and there's things on fire. The fact that he's asleep, I mean, he's not Kylo Ren yet.
Right.
He's still Ben Solo,
Yeah.
asleep in the bed. The thing comes out, he's, destroy. So unless he went away, put on Kylo gear, got his buddies, who all also dressed up in gear, and then came back and fought, that is happening some other time, which means
They
it
destroyed
probably...
something else. They must have destroyed something else.
And it could be, as much as it goes against all the other beats in that vision, it could be something completely in the future. Could be, J.J. Abrams is doing episode 9, as it turns out. He could go back and go, all right, we'll make this in the future somewhere. Although he did break his helmet, he could put his helmet back on, whatever. Now that Snoke's dead, he's like, the only reason he destroyed his mask was that Snoke was like, take that ridiculous mask off.
And that's what you know what, when Snoke was saying those lines, it was like me talking, because we've talked about that a ton of times. A girl who doesn't even have the Force beat him?
Right. He did say a lot of fan stuff there. And he was like, and you know, oh, you think you're like Darth Vader?
You mean the scavenger girl who's never held a lightsaber? What? And Snoke said the same thing. She never held a lightsaber. She's not a Jedi. She doesn't have any powers that she's aware of. And you could barely hold your own. And like, wow, that's what we were saying. It was cool.
Take that ridiculous man. Like when he says that, you're like, oh, oof, yeah. And you could see that rage, which isn't a great thing for Adam Driver as Kylo Ren. Like he still has that like petulant.
I felt bad for him. But Snoke said everything we were thinking. You let a peasant who's never been in any battles or even held a lightsaber go up against you and hold her own for quite some time. That was very interesting.
So the other beat, we mentioned it here, but we'll talk about it, that's disturbing some people, is the revelation about Rey's parents. Now we'll take it at face value. Yes, could you say either Kylo was lying or he's misinformed? Because he's reading Rey's mind and she's misinformed? Like, you know, unreliable narrator, yes, that is possible, and we can chat about that. But if we take it at face value, oh, your parents were nobodies, they sold you for parts or what, I don't know, it was weird. Like and they probably have unmarked graves on Jakku somewhere.
I'm going to call this right now and say that whether he knows or not, somebody knows that she is, say, a Kenobi or someone of important blood, right? And if he does know, he's trying to play it down like she's coming from a worthless nothing background in order to make her feel like, well, there's nowhere to turn but to me, the dark side, and I'll be your family.
Sure.
Just like Obi-Wan said to Luke, which was true. Well, Luke said it in episode 4. There's nothing for me here. I want to come with you and learn the ways and be a Jedi like my father. His aunt and uncle were murdered. He doesn't want to stay and farm the land anyway. There's nothing for me here. Let's go. So I wonder if Ben was trying to say that to Rey, like, you know what? They were drug users. They sold you for cash for drugs.
I don't know if they said drugs, but that's kind of what we got out of it. Or whatever, drunks? I don't know, whatever.
Drunk? I thought he said drugs.
Was it drugs? Anyway.
I believe meth was involved. But I don't know.
Yes.
But anyway.
It was Breaking Bad. It was an episode.
They were people. She was sold for the money for whatever they were into. And they just left. I have a feeling that that's wrong. And I don't know if he knows that or not. I think maybe he might be lying to her to put her down to the point where she just says, you know what, I'll join you then.
Now, if you're going to go with the idea that it is correct, that, oh, your parents actually weren't some famous bloodline, it would tie in with Luke's comments to her when he's training her about, oh, the mighty Skywalker bloodline, look what it did, and, you know, the Force isn't reserved just for Jedi. The Force is something that's accessible to anybody. Yeah. And so that's kind of that idea that, hey, even a commoner can use the Force in some way.
But the tricky thing is, why did the lightsaber go right to her in The Force Awakens?
Right,
it shows her, right? It went right past Kylo, which was
It's cool. Like they're having it both ways of like, look, anybody can use the Force, but destiny calls for one person in particular, you. Here's where I feel like...
I feel there's something strong with her. She's got to be from somewhere.
So this is my thought. This is how I think you could rectify the idea that she does have special parentage, even though Kylo said no. Is Kylo's reading her minds. He says, you know what's the answer. Who are your parents? Say it, you know. And so he's looking in her mind, and she's admitting, yeah. So, okay, in her mind, when she was 5 or 6 years old or whatever, she got abandoned by some people. Okay. She doesn't, those might not have been her biological parents. She doesn't remember being born, right? So let's say... Yeah. Special parents, right, for whatever reason, are desperate. They give her to these other people. They're supposed to look after her, but it was a bad idea because they're horrible parents and they abandon her. And she equates those to her parents. So that's in her brain. Oh, yeah, my parents were crap. And Kylo reads that. And so it's, you know, like we still don't necessarily, there's a possibility that her original biological parentage is unknown.
I have a feeling you're right.
She's an unreliable narrator because she's remembering her 5-year-old, I'm 5 years old thoughts.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, you know, whatever. So, just saying.
That sounds good to me.
It's still possible that that's a thing. Although, you know, it is one of the themes of this movie is, like Rose, for instance, it's like, oh, the common people can still make you know.
Unless they never bring up her parents again.
Yeah?
Like they didn't.
No, they will, though. I think... Because that's one of her storylines, right? They even mention it. It's like, your obsession is, who are your parents? And she goes down to the cave. That doesn't really answer any questions.
Nothing.
But
the cave did nothing.
She sees herself, much like Luke saw himself in the cave.
Yeah, but, you know, Luke, even in this movie, is like, you don't go down there. That's a pure evil. Look out. She goes down there. She swims for a second. And she's like, there's nothing. It's like, what? Nothing?
She snaps her fingers. She joins like an a cappella group.
Oh, yeah, right. I forgot about that. Yeah. But it's like this pure evil resides down in the pit, and nothing was down in the pit.
Yeah, it was a mirror of herself.
Right. I don't know what that's about, but like
it was deep.
Again, I'm not sure with this whole character development with Captain Phasma, the female stormtrooper, and then nothing. It's like you built her up for her to just die, and then. More importantly, Snoke. You introduce this character, like we said, he's been sitting around for 6 episodes doing what? 7 episodes doing what?
It would have been cool to know his backstory.
Where has he been?
For sure.
What's the backstory? And then he's just dead. It's like, what? That bothers me. Unless, again, they figure, you don't need to know. It's just some guy who pulled... Yeah, but I just want to know, where did he come from? Why did you even introduce... You didn't really need a Snoke's, right? Could have just been Kylo wanting to follow in Vader's footsteps. I don't know what to do. I'm going to drum my... You could have...
It's just that story, involves the idea of redemption. I mean, that was the...
But I think it would have been better without
6
Snoke.
Was like...
I think it would have been better without Snoke. Because then you've got a twisted young mind who's trying to find his way with no one to lead him.
So is it just the First Order generally is the evil thing that has to be beaten in the end? Like, you redeem the guy, but you don't have a...
And he's the leader of the First Order.
I'm just saying, like, for instance, if you compare it to Darth Vader. So Darth Vader was redeemed, defeated the Emperor, which was also the Empire.
Right.
And so as opposed to Darth Vader being the thing to be defeated. In this situation, you kind of set up a situation where Kylo is the thing to be defeated.
Yes.
And so that's why it's different, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's different. Does he, I feel like he almost needs to die at this point. Like in episode 9, either he gets redeemed and dies in redemption, or he just dies outright because he's still the evil villain guy.
The thing that's so weird, though, is they always, especially in this film, have such an emphasis on the Force is a pure balance, 50-50. So if Kylo dies
right,
at the
when
end,
he says the dark rises and light to meet it.
Yeah.
So, like,
so if evil dies, there's no balance. So how can the movies end? Well, with Disney, they never will.
They won't.
Because it's a cash cow. But aside from that...
Well, you've got Sweepy Boy. Don't forget, don't fall asleep on Sweepy Boy. That's episode 10, baby. Sweepy Boy who uses the Force to bring a broom to his hand.
And I almost missed that. Because, like you said, please don't show the little kid thing again. And then it was, and I just caught a glimpse of that. I'm like, did I just see that?
Yeah. It was good in that way.
It
was like, what? Oh, yeah, he used the Force. Although it makes you think, like, couldn't he have just used the Force, like, instead of the broom? Like, I have to clean up Space Horse poop. Whoop, whoop. And so he's like, no, I'm going to bring the broom to my hand so I can sweep. You're like, oh, man. Come on, guy. Let's think a little outside the box on this. But, yeah, whatever. Anyway, yes.
Speaking of that reminded me about those cool-looking horses again. But, again, my least favorite and favorite parts of the movie, I'm just going to say really quick. When they went to Vegas, long, overdrawn, and then Rose is over the balcony, a character that I don't even care about because there wasn't much development, talking about how she wishes the whole city would go away because blessed. I don't care. Can we get back to the film? I don't care about your character, and I don't care about
she had her sister had that really cool scene in the beginning where she sacrifices herself.
Let's leave it at that. We could have left Finn by himself without her as a sidekick.
By the way, could those bombers be any more poorly designed?
I know.
They're like giant tongue depressors in the sky that move so slow. And then, like, I'm just thinking, like, you could reduce the number of bombs. If that's the whole point, is like, we have to look like a giant popsicle because we have so many bombs. Like, maybe half the bombs and then you can go faster.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, God.
That bothered me.
Plus, they all fly in course formation. My wife pointed out that maybe you wouldn't, if you know that, once you trigger the bombs and they could explode prematurely, maybe you don't fly so close to each other that it'll take all of your ships out.
Right.
It seemed like a bad formation to fly in.
Like a bad...
Plus, they're just so broad.
Shit.
Like, there's just so much space to hit.
Look how fast those interceptors fly. When you let one through and they're dead. They're going to kamikaze it or just blast it with a few blasters and they're done. But that's the worst scene for me. It's like the Vegas scene. It's like
the Vegas. The bombing scene was actually really cool. It was I'm just being silly about that.
It looked too much like Vegas. It looked like a Hollywood Casinos commercial to me. And then again, I know you're interested in Star Wars, but you know what? Let me take 10 minutes to talk about my sadness a character that you don't know anything about or probably don't care about. I don't care. That's that. My favorite part of the film, two favorite parts. There's a few, but two favorite parts. My ultimate favorite was when Luke said to R2, "There's nothing you're going to say to get me back." And he shows the clip of his younger sister as younger. That was awesome.
Help me, Obi-Wan, you're my own hero,
Yeah.
which is like one of the most iconic lines in Star Wars.
A tip of the hat to the original film. That was awesome.
And he says something back to R2 after, like, that's a low blow or something like that. It was pretty good.
That was awesome.
There's no swearing. This is a sacred planet or something like that. I like that too.
And
yes, that was a really touching scene.
Then at the end,
because it's also Leia, right? And it's like Carrie Fisher. We see a young Carrie Fisher,
and he carried that file with him always. That was great. And then the end, because Luke, someone even said in the movie he's got an affinity for staring into the sun or something. Someone said something like that. And that's the first thing I remember as a kid seeing Episode 4 when it opened, is him looking out at the sun with the music. That really got me. It was a powerful scene. So he starts out as a farm boy knowing nothing, looking out at the sun. His uncle will do that too, end of Episode 3. And then his life ends.
That's the suns are setting too.
That was great. That was a great, powerful scene. So those are my two favorite, but the R2 scene that was awesome. That was so cool.
So he does say, he being Luke, does say, I'll see you around, kid. Like after. So first, that sounds like a Han line as well. But, but it implies that he's going to be back as a Force ghost in Episode 9. So I think that's probably likely. And we saw that the Force ghosts are pretty damn powerful.
Yeah.
In this thing, like Yoda brings down a lightning bolt. He bonks Luke on the head, so he's like tangible. When Luke projects himself, now he's not a Force ghost at that point, but he projects himself. He's got those dice, and those are he's actually kissing Leia on the forehead.
I'm surprised to see that.
What tipped me off was when he lit up the blue lightsaber, and I was like, wait, the blue lightsaber just got destroyed.
Oh, that tipped you off?
How does he have the blue light? I assumed he'd be the green one. Like he'd be like,
right.
Boom. But it was like, oh, the one that just got pulled apart by Rey and Kylo. So I was like, huh. But I didn't necessarily, at that moment, I still wasn't like, oh, he's obviously...
I thought he was projecting himself. Because there's no way he's going to get nailed by all those blasters by AT-ATs. AT-ATs, whatever. So right away I thought he's projecting himself from the side room next to Leia. But that was cool. At the end, you found out he was doing it from the mountain. From what, galaxies away?
Yeah, long way away. And so it's very powerful. So his Force ghost could be as able to interact with the world as he is.
Right.
So I know we're running a little long here, but
it was good.
So I know we
enjoyed it.
We just spent a lot of more time talking about bad things than good, but it is a good movie, very enjoyable, action-packed.
Maybe a little too many little comic things in here.
So some of the comedy worked, some of it didn't.
Yeah.
I did like the comedy. I like the beat of Rey says like, oh, or where are you from? Nowhere. He's like, no, everybody's from somewhere. Where are you from? She's like, Jakku. Oh, okay, well that is nowhere. That was a pretty funny line.
That was good.
It played a little weird
when Luke did this. That was kind of cool, but also cheesy. I still don't know what I like about that or not like.
A little too cheesy.
It was like, I'm the man. I don't know.
The scene that I disliked, I think, the most in terms of its attempt at comedy was the scene where Rey and Luke are training, and Luke says like, "Reach out for the Force" or something, and she like closes her eyes and reaches her hand out, and then he tickles it with a blade of grass. She's like, "I feel something," and then she's like, "Oh, you mean reach out without my hand?" Like it was like. It didn't seem like something they would say in that moment. Yeah. It felt goofy, and it felt done for laughs as opposed to, this is a character moment that will help the situation.
Right.
So that was a little, I thought that fell flat for me a little bit. Chewbacca about to eat a porg, and the porg
that was
quivering
kind
lip.
of funny.
It's funny. Here's the thing.
It was disturbing.
Here's the thing is like, that porg's already dead. The porg is watching Chewbacca with a cooked porg. So like they had to watch the porg being, I assume, cooked over a spit or something, and like that's not what they objected to. They object to the fact that he's about to eat it, but like he had to kill it, spit it, cook it. And like the whole time they're like, "Oh, that's fine. Eat it? No, now you've gone too far. How dare you?" Anyway, that was just, yeah. So yes, the porgs were cute. As much as I'm like merchandising, they were cute.
Yeah,
whatever.
I like how they didn't put them in there that much.
Yeah.
They just kind of graced the screen once in a while. Okay, we're here, and then they were gone. And I think they know that the Star Wars fans they don't want that cutesy little kid stuff.
Okay, weird, unnecessary scene. You mentioned you thought that the escape pod scene was maybe unnecessary and it was too long.
Which is
this is
pod scene?
the where
yeah.
Finn's trying to go. My unnecessary scene is Luke milking the alien and then drinking the milk.
Yeah, that
Like,
was
I
not
was like,
needed.
And then the alien gives like creep, like looks over at Rey like, "Hey, check it out." Like, what was that look? That was weird. Was it? I don't know. That was just. It just.
I forgot about that scene, and I wish I didn't remember it because I do remember thinking the same thing when it gave the.
I mean, it's basically Luke goes about his day. He's got a tough day. He's got that thing that he like spears fish from 500 feet up or something like that. Whatever. Okay, cool. But then
it was cool to see those things, like how he survives. It's interesting because I'm sure people have thought, "Hey, how does he survive?" You know what though? I assumed he was fishing. I assumed he would eat things on the island.
Yeah.
What I really wanted to know is who's Snoke, and where does he come from? Not how does Luke eat,
or how
does he drink?
Does he milk the teats of a weird alien creature to get its milk?
I want to know.
That was. Anyway, it was
yeah. They could have not spent time on that. I'd rather know about Snoke or other things.
So the themes, obviously, we had the theme of as Kylo says, what is it? Forget your past. You didn't say forget your past.
Kill it.
Kill it if you have to.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving past your past. That's Rey with her parents. It's Luke with the past where he tried to kill Kylo, and Kylo himself dealing with his past and his parents and trying to move past that. Those are all things that are churning about as a theme. Also, the theme of that mistakes are the best teachers. I mean, the fact that Yoda presents that idea of like our failures are teach us. And our students are people that they overcome us. They're better than us in that they're taking our failures and making themselves better. Those were all very mature themes, I thought. Also, they threw in the theme of who's on the right side. That when they're DJ. Benicio del Toro's character has this spaceship, and it's like, oh yeah, this was a gun runner, and we see that the gun runner was like selling weapons to the Empire, but he's also selling weapons to the Resistance, and so it's like, First Order. Anyway, so like what is good, what is bad, which is also played out with Kylo and Rey. Like what's good, what's bad.
That was an
light,
interesting
what's dark.
balance. Was it, but they're also selling it to you, know.
And so Benicio del Toro's character's resolution to that is just don't join anything. Hence DJ. Like, don't join. I'm just going to play both sides, whatever side's pays anymore.
Yeah.
And he lives through this movie, so I assume he'll be in the next one.
Which is weird because, it's like, well, they paid more. Well, I would think if they found out that you were initially helping the Resistance...
they give you the money and then shoot you and keep the money.
Or don't even... Yeah, exactly. Right. Or don't even give... Look, you're going to die, but you're also going to, turn them over to us, and then maybe you'll live. Nope, you're still gonna die.
Yeah, you would think
the whole money thing was weird to me. It's like, why?
Why would the First Order go bend over backwards with that? Like,
they caught him. You know what? We'll pay you more if you turn him in. They're trapped.
How about this? We'll either throw you in a jail or shoot you in the head, or we'll whatever. You can go free if you want, but I'm not going to give you a whole bunch of cash.
Right.
Yeah.
That was weird to me.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, was he a plant from the beginning? Did they put him in the jail cell from the beginning?
I thought that he was a plant from the beginning, but
now I'm thinking he was because they paid him.
Right. He got out of there.
It was just
and gave him
odd.
ship.
But that whole Vegas scene, I don't like it at all.
It was interesting that they did have Justin Theroux as the main contact, the guy with the flower, who they were supposed to meet, and he's only in there for, I think he has one line maybe. Let it roll or something like that. And so like that guy, if you've watched this channel before, you've seen that we did a recap of The Leftovers, which is a show from HBO. Great show. Paul and I talked about it. He's the lead actor in that. And it's awesome. Like, he's a really legit actor. And so it was just, when I saw him there, I was like, oh, this is interesting. I didn't remember him being, like, they were talking too much about him being in this. And then he wasn't. But it was interesting you'd have an actor of that caliber and then I just wonder if there were maybe some other scenes of him, or maybe not. I don't know. But I would like to see Justin Theroux in a role in Star Wars.
You know what kind of bothered me, too, about the Vegas thing? He looked like a cowboy guy. Like he was from Texas.
Oh, he didn't have a hat or anything. He had a suit, slicked hair, whatever.
Yeah, but the suit, slicked hair, I think I don't know, he looked distinguished, he looked great, but it didn't look like he was from space. The whole casino looked like Vegas. Most people look like people from Vegas. It was like, are we still in space, in a galaxy far away? It just seemed too much like Earth. And
the Admiral Holdo plot line was interesting, and she's gives herself, self-sacrifice, obviously, in the way that that scene where she takes out the Supremacy, or whatever that name of that ship is pretty, it looks great.
Yeah.
But it does seem like she could have solved a lot of problems with, like, just communicating, like, give a 15-second summary.
There was a part where I knew like I told you, she was a traitor.
You felt like she was a traitor,
Yeah,
right?
I knew she was.
You were like, oh, she's the one who's screwing over the...
Yep.
But yeah, she wasn't. But she, Poe mutinies. He asks her, what's the plan? And she just won't say, I have a plan. It's a good one. Trust me. Even that would have been enough. But she's like, I don't know, stay on course. Like, she won't just... If she'd have spent literally a few seconds just telling Poe, like, we're going to go to this planet, and I think there's a base, and we can get escape, and it'll be great. But instead, he goes to the point of mutinying because she won't talk to him, and they're just losing ships left and right.
I thought about that same thing, too. When I realized that she was going to end her life to save everybody, it's like, oh, she's not a traitor? Okay.
Like, I mean, yes, she's a brave commander, but, a good commander also, communicates with the people under them.
She could have at least said what you said and finished it quickly with, I don't have time to explain the whole thing. We're going to die, but there's a plan. Just let me deal with it. It's fine.
Yeah. Instead of, mind your manners, know your place, let everybody die.
Yeah, and everyone continues to die.
Like,
so he was justified in what he did, but I don't know.
It was a little weird too so Leia breaks in and stuns him.
Yeah.
Right, after he's mutinied. And then he's getting put onto a ship or something, and there's this line where Leia's talking to Holdo, and she's like, oh...
Yeah, right.
That guy's wacky. I love him, or something like that.
But I kind of like him.
And it was like,
now she's
wait,
good.
The guy just mutinied, threatened to kill you, took over the ship, threatened your plan entirely. You had to break in. It just seemed a little flippant in that moment to be like, oh, yeah, he mutinied. Oh, that Poe. Yep, that's what he'll do.
That's what I thought,
that was
too.
A little weird.
And I chalked it up to, we're the commanders here. These silly people don't know what they're doing. We run things. Poe's just being silly again.
Yeah, but I mean, it was a mutiny is a mutiny. That's a big deal. But
yeah, that was weird. I wish they would have cut out that little part, a little back and forth too much, and I wish they would have cut out the whole Vegas thing. I wish they didn't have to contact that, what's her name, to find out about the guy in Vegas. Mav or whatever her name is.
Oh, right, Maz Kanata.
Maz Kanata.
That was a weird scene too, where she's fighting.
Why? Again,
they wanted to put her in.
Why is she fighting? Why are we contacting her?
Why would she talk to them while fighting? I would think you would be like...
That is so stupid.
It seemed almost played for comic relief, because she's
like,
oh, hang on, I got to shoot some guys. Da-da-da-da-da. Anyway, you're going to want to talk to it. Oh, hang on. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da.
Yeah.
Yep. That was
stupid. It was really dumb. It's like, look how important I am.
Didn't buy that so much.
Me either. It would have been better if Poe was like, you know what? Doesn't Bill in the engine room? He knows a guy. In fact, he's on this ship. Let's go get him, and he'll hack into the thing. That would have been better.
Comedic scene I did like, or a comedic line I liked was after Kylo has them shoot everything at Luke, and then Hux is like, I think you got him.
Yeah.
Like, that was a funny little bit.
I'll add to that. I wanted to add earlier, too. Before he says, do you think you got him? There's a gunner / driver of the AT-AT. I know it's not called that, but I'll call it that, AT-AT. And he's like blasting Luke. And he kind of looks back at
Kylo?
Kylo like, still? And then Hux then goes, you think you got him? But if you watch the movie a second time, you'll see, like, really quick, the camera's on him. He's like, he looks back like, still? You know, that was funny. And then Hux chimes in. So both of them.
You also do get a few more scenes similar to Force Awakens where people see Kylo in a tantrum and decide, let's leave him be. And I do appreciate those scenes. And there's one too, I think where when he force throws Hux against the wall or something, he's like arguing with him, and you see the guy who's like steering the ship's like, right away, sir. Something like that. Like, yep, okay, we're good, no problems. Like, I appreciate those. They're funny beats, but they also say something about the character, and I could imagine that being a thing where it's like, oh my god, it's Kylo. Everybody just chill out.
I don't know why those make me laugh, but the other ones that try to be funny don't. I don't know why, but yeah, I like those too.
Yeah, those are good beats. So anyway, it's worth seeing for sure. Don't take our word for it. Just go see it. You'll like it.
And put in the comments what your favorite part was and least favorite part was, and subscribe to the channel if you like it.
Sweepy boy, hero of the Star Wars universe. 20 years from now, Sweepy boy they'll name him.
Yeah.
Sweepy boy 3000.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Star Wars episode 39.
Sweepy boy will be an old man at that point, sweeping. They'll do like much like Luke and the two sons. He'll be dying, sweeping a floor. And like,
I think I'm a huge fan. Like I said, I named my son Luke, and my German Shepherd is Leia. We were there for episode 4, but I have to say, I'm going to be done with the franchise after episode 9, and I am looking forward to episode 9, but not so much.
Well, it's interesting they've gotten rid of a lot of the characters. I feel like they'll have Luke as a Force Ghost. I think they're going to bring Lando back because they got the Han Solo movie coming. They're going to see young Lando. It would seem like it'd be a perfect springboard to go, yeah, where has Lando been all this time? Boop, there he is.
You know what I think would have been cool? That reminds me, I was telling you earlier as well, when there's that battle and the Millennium Falcon comes in, and then Chewie's in the cockpit, and then Rey's on the gun like, yeah, I got him. What if it was Lando? Yeah, I got that, beep or whatever. That would be so, it's Lando. And you know what?
It would be so Deus Ex Machina, but yeah, okay, I hear you. It would be like, whoa!
Everyone would lose their minds. Or like, what if Wedge then all of a sudden he's like, yeah, I'm on him. It's Wedge too? That would be so awesome. And I know what you're going to say. Well, where'd they come? You know what? Who cares?
Where did Snoke come from?
It doesn't matter. Because at that moment, oh my God, it's Lando. That's awesome, But anyway.
No, it's cool. All right, so yes, subscribe. And yeah, hit like or make some comments. We will make comments back.
See ya.
Bye.